Recording in progress.
Alright. So welcome everyone. This is our functional conditioning class. So today we will be working out. We'll be doing our warm-up. We'll be doing our workout and then a very quick cool down. Some of you will be joining me at the 10 a.m. class where we will continue with some stretches and some balance work. But as far as this class, functional conditioning, we are mimicking a lot of day-to-day movements that we do for like our daily tasks. So you'll recognize, or some movements may seem similar to what we do at home on a daily basis, like a lot of like reaching or extending, some type of walking or holding an object on one hand or in a certain position. So yeah, it's just trying to function that over to our actual lifestyle day-to-day tasks. So anyways, we'll go ahead and start with our warm-up. So we're gonna go ahead and just be on our feet right now and just look left to right. Just warm up our neck. As far as equipment for today, a chair, yoga mat. If you have dumbbells, that'd be great. If you don't, maybe a smaller, heavier object like a heavy book or a water gallon or water bottles. Those should work, but dumbbells always seem to, up and down, work the best. And if it's your first time with me, I am Coach Julio, or just Julio, whatever you want to call me. You could reach out to me via email. Usually respond as soon as I get those notifications. Let's do our neck circles. And then, as always, if there's a movement that you don't like or feels very uneasy or uncomfortable or is causing pain, please just stop, switch. I don't want you to walk away injured from here, but if it's just a little bit of a, it's not causing too much issue, but we want to switch it up a little bit, let me know. So unmute yourself and let's do our snow angels. Unmute yourself. Let me know that, hey, is there a variation for this lunge or for this type of lift because it bothers my elbow or my knee or my back, whatever it is, let me know. Usually we could find a variation. And if we can't, then you may just have to sit that one exercise out of like 15 or 20 exercises. So it's not the end of the world. Bring that right arm across. Yeah, so, and then don't feel obligated to have your cameras on, but it does help in not making me feel so lonely out here. Sometimes all the screens are black and I can't see anyone. I feel I'm here by myself. But not just that, but if you want your form corrected, I could visually see you. The rest of the class, I believe, can't. Let's switch. So that allows me to make any corrections of your form too. So if I notice that you're doing a lift incorrectly, I could always correct that. So yeah, but other than that, that's kind of it. We will meet on Fridays and Saturdays. Let's do our trunk rotations. Fridays and Saturdays at 9 a.m. And then just an announcement, I mentioned this yesterday, but next week we won't be meeting for these classes. We'll have recordings, and then we'll continue the following weekend. So yeah, I'll probably just remove the Zoom links because sometimes I make the announcements or someone misses them, and I still have people log in. So you won't see the Zoom links. You'll just see a video post for you to follow along in lieu of these classes, okay? So. Morning, Ella. Let's do our ab circles here. Loosen up our back.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Just getting back from Miles Square Park.
Nice. I got up pretty late today, like at 7:45, and I was trying to squeeze in a 4-mile run, and I was like, oh, I'll just do it after the classes. And then I saw that the temperature was going to be about 15 degrees warmer today by 11. So I was like, oh, never mind. I'm just going to go now. So let's do our big hula hoops. So just exaggerate your hip swings all the way around. Yeah, so I got my run in Felt good. Glad I got it done. But I think I mentioned I wear my fitness tracker pretty much 24/7. The only time I take it off is when I shower, or I jump in a pool for some reason. And let's switch. Or I just rinse it after my run since I tend to sweat a lot. But yeah, it tracks most of my activities, and this week I think with the new schedule, it's been telling me to get plenty of rest. So that's what I tried doing this morning. So I got I think about 7.5 hours of sleep. Okay, let's go ahead and do our hamstring stretch so we could get started. So slide your hands down your legs, bring your glutes down, your hips down, so you're in this position, and then just extend your hips back behind you. And rise. All right. Very good. Oof, got up a little too quick. My head just started swirling. So again, just have a chair nearby, yoga mat, dumbbells. There will be some movements that we could use dumbbells or not. So if you don't have equipment right now for this first session, don't stress too much about it. And then water. If you have a little towel or a rag, just for your sweat. And that's about it. So I'll give you folks about a minute to collect those items, and then I'll start explaining what the workout's gonna look like. So go ahead and find that. Okay. Alrighty. So as we begin this workout, and if for those of you that have been with me over the last few days, you'll see that compared to our previous terms, these classes just tend to go by a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna try to start at 9 a.m. As soon as I'm able to. So our first set is gonna be dumbbell halo to reverse lunge. Okay? What the heck is he talking about with the dumbbell halo? So we're gonna hold the dumbbell with both our hands. So if you have a water bottle, grab it with both your hands. You're gonna do a halo, so a circle above you, and come back. And then switch directions, so counterclockwise, and come back. So this is just gonna add some shoulder mobility to this reverse lunge, okay? If that makes sense. So that's gonna be the first one. Our next one, we're gonna do 8 of those. Our next one is gonna be inchworms to sky rotation. So pretty much we're gonna come to an inchworm. So we're gonna crawl out to an inchworm. Once you're here, you're gonna rotate up and then come back up. And that's 1. For this one, we're gonna do 6, okay? It's a little slower. What I want you to focus on that one is the inchworm portion, okay? So if you can't do the rotation, because it does require some strength on your arm, your shoulder, your wrist, if any of those areas are tender, you're gonna struggle with that one. So just go with the inchworm, okay? But if you could rotate, then great. And then we do the other side. Then we're gonna go with ice skaters. So ice skaters are just here. We're just gonna reach back and forth. We're gonna do that for about 30 seconds. And then fire hydrants, we're gonna be on our 4s. And we are gonna, in quadruped position, and elevate our right knee to the side. We'll do 10 on each leg. And that's gonna be our first giant set, or our first block, okay? Any questions? Okay, so I really am indifferent which way you go with the halos, as long as we switch from counterclockwise to clockwise with every interval, okay? So, all right, let's go ahead and begin. So the dumbbell reverse lunges, or dumbbell halos reverse lunges, we're doing 8. So 4 on each leg. So if you start, go ahead and begin. So shoulder here, come back, swing. And this also forces you to have your torso upright. Because there's times when I'm doing reverse lunges or just a lunge in general where I'm doing too much leaning with my torso. So this, having the dumbbell over your head, keeps you a little bit honest with your form. I'm gonna go for 10 actually. I think during the demonstration it was feeling a little bit tiresome, but now that I'm on a roll, it's feeling good. Whew. All right. And you'll notice not just your legs get fatigued, but your shoulders will too. All right, so I'm gonna plug in my progress in my app. All right, and then now we have our inchworms with the sky reach, okay? So remember, we go into an inchworm, and then we rotate, and then we crawl back, and then we do the inchworm and rotate to the opposite side. So let's do 3 reaches on each side, so a total of 6 inchworms. Ready? And begin. So crawl, get into a hand plank, and then rotate. And then come back and stand up. Catch your breath if you need to. Come back down. Very good. Awesome. Let's get into that plank. So plenty of new movements this term. If you've been with me in the past, I know I kind of keep the traditional movements going, but trying to incorporate about half of our exercises to be new movements. And I'm liking them. And that's 6 for me. Whew. Usually I do a poor choice of finding new exercises, and I dismiss them after the first session of trying them. How are we feeling? How is that for everyone? The inchworm to the rotation. Come on, people, you can talk to me. Don't be shy.
My shoulders are bothering me today, so that was tough.
Yeah, this is day 5 of workouts. So maybe we take tomorrow off. So so was it the rotation that irritated it a little bit, or just the inchworm?
Both, I think. It's not here, it's right here.
Okay, so it might
It's really sore.
Yeah, it might just be the 5 days of the workouts. All right, so listen to your body. We don't want to overdo it. So this one should alleviate a little bit of aches on your upper body. So it's just skaters. So the main idea is just start with the widest stance that we could possibly be at, and then you're just gonna go and tap your right foot, and then your left. Okay. So it's just working on your inside here. So we're gonna go for 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go. So. There's a little bit of cardio, but also helping with your hip flexors, your hamstrings.
Aquí estamos, Julio, todo bien, aquí estamos.
Okay. No se me desmayen. 10 more seconds. How are we doing, Tanya?
I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
I'm doing.
And time. Yeah, I usually like asking my new folks how they're doing on their first day, so making sure they come back and they don't, it's not just one and done. All right, and then this next one's pretty relaxing. Well, I wouldn't say relaxing, it's just not taxing aerobically or on your upper body. So this is fire hydrants. So again, hopefully this position, Debbie, it's okay. But we're just gonna have Support our upper body with our wrist, knees right below our hips, and the idea is to bring your knee out to the side of you, okay? So Tanya, this is your first time, so you just want to make sure for these movements, anytime you see me or you're in this position with your wrists down, your knees right below your hips, you also want to keep your head looking down. You don't want to be looking around. So look down and then lift that knee to your side and then bring it back down. And when you lift, you want to keep it elevated for about half a second before you bring it back down. So let's do 10 on each leg. Go ahead. So your eyes, your head is always looking right between your hands. So this is for your lower back, your hips, your glutes. And in between exercises, we usually take about 30 to 40 seconds of recovery. When you switch sides, you could give your shoulders a little bit of a rest. And when you're ready, do the other 10 on the other leg. Very good. Whew. Awesome. Alrighty. So that's our first block, okay? So we have a total of 4 that we want to get through. They're fire hydrants. 20. Alright. So this is your time to rest. So in between giant sets, we'll take about 90 seconds recovery. And this is where I'm going to explain the next movements. So our first one is going to be the dumbbell high pull. So this is going to be pretty much, if you've done Romanian deadlift with me, it's a Romanian deadlift with a shoulder raise, okay? So what that's going to look like is slight bend at the knees, dumbbells go down, and then on your way up, we usually stop here, okay? But for these, we're going to go here, and on your way up, bring your shoulders, dumbbells to your shoulders. Okay, so we're here, and then we're going to continue up. All right, so that's going to incorporate the shoulders there. That's going to be the first one. Okay. And then the next one, another combination of lower and body, is going to be a split single row. So we're here, we're going to hinge, and then almost just keep my left hand on my left knee, and I'm just going to support myself here. So the difference between this one and the bent over row here is that sometimes if we're arching, we could really hurt ourselves, the position that we're in. So by having this split and supporting yourself with your hand on your knee, you're a little bit more protected. Okay, so we're gonna do 10 on each, or 8 on each side there. After that, we're gonna go ahead and do a gorilla row. So this is a new one. Only difference here is we're gonna be in a sumo stance position. We're gonna hinge at the hips, and we're just gonna go wider. Okay, so that's still working out the back, but because we're in that sumo squat position and we're here, we're also doing some tension on our legs. So we're doing, getting a combination of upper and lower body, and then finally we'll be on the floor and do the YWT that we did the other day in our other class. So we'll do that on the floor. I'll demonstrate once we get on the floor. All right, so a lot of upper and lower body combined on this one. All right, so let's start with our RDLs into our shoulder raises, okay? Into our shoulder upright rows, okay? So we're here, slight bend at the knees, bring your dumbbells down, keep those dumbbells close to your legs the whole time, and then come up. So remember, if your dumbbells are away from your legs, you're probably curving your back, and it's gonna irritate. So make sure those dumbbells are following your legs. So that dumbbell should be up against your body the entire time. And remember, on the way down, I inhale, on my way up, I exhale. And that number 5. Aiming for at least 8. If you want to do 10, go for it. So again, the way down is working on our hamstrings, a little bit our glutes. The way up is going to be our shoulders. I'm going to go for 10. I'll save the 8s for when I'm feeling tired. I'll do 10s when I'm feeling good. Last one. Very good. 14. All right. Okay. So this one, I'll still give the option if you want to do the supportive. So Tanya, this is your first time with us. So again, right now we're gonna do this position, go from here to a split, and then just bend at the knee, and your hamlet's gonna be here, and you're just gonna row here. If that seems a little bit awkward, what you could do too is just grab a chair, support yourself with it, and just bring that arm to your side. So I guess really this just helps you out if you don't have a chair around. That's another way to do it.
Okay.
So,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, okay. All right, so we're gonna do 8 of these on each side. So again, just find yourself in your position, ready to support, and bring that dumbbell to your side. And again, same thing, 8 to 10. That's our sweet spot. Usually it's 8 to 12. The difference is when you are struggling at number 8, then you're usually doing a set amount of repetitions to develop more muscle strength. And if you're doing more of like 12 to 20 in that range, then it's promoting a little bit, like the weight is light enough that it's promoting more muscle endurance. So again, muscle strength would be, you know, maybe you could lift a 40-pound bag for, you know, maybe hold that steady for about 2 minutes. That's muscle strength. But muscle endurance would be maybe holding a 10-pound bag for an hour. So that's the difference. So one, you're promoting your muscles to work for you longer and lighter, less effort. And the other one is to be quicker but heavier, more demanding effort. So that's what we're looking at. So pretty much if you want to find a combination of each, you know, for one day we go this way and the other day we do focus on the other one. Oof. Alrighty. Next one. We have our dumbbell gorilla rows. So remember, this is the one with the sumo squat. So we're gonna be here, dumbbells, and then we bring that here. So because our legs are gonna be lengthened and in an isometric position, they're also getting work. Okay, so again, wide, hinge at the hips, the back is nice and straight, and row. So give me anywhere 8 to 12 on these. Very good.
Oh, sure. Where the other over. She's under the blanket.
Oof. Let me see. All right, and we have one more, which is gonna be our prone, our Supermans with our Y, the W, or the T. Okay, so with this one, we do need our yoga mats. We're gonna be on the floor. So quickly demonstrate here what it is that we're doing. So traditional Superman, we are laying, that's a bad angle for I'm trying to teach a new person. So yeah, so this one we usually want to lay down flat, chest elevated, and then elevate your feet. Okay? So, and this chair's blocking it. Now that we're gonna do a Y, a W, and a T, but the difference is we're gonna hold the Y shape, like the letters, that's Y. W would be here, with your wrist pointing at like 45 degrees, and T would be off to the side, okay? All right, Debbie, if your shoulder's tender, just go with the regular Superman, I would say, I would advise. And then everyone else, if you're feeling okay, try the variations of these. Since we're moving our arms, you might feel some tension on your shoulders and closer to your neck, okay? That upper mid back, that's where we're gonna be targeting. All right, ready? We're gonna do 15 seconds of each position. And begin. Let's go with the Y. So chest up, knees up if possible. Okay, W. So elbows at your side, but now your wrists are 45 degrees outwards. All right, T. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rise. Very good. All right, let me go over the next block. Okay. So this one we have escalators. So escalators is one we've done in the past. You're pretty much just starting upright, and every step you take, your hips drop a little bit, okay? So you see I'm just coming down, and then once you can't go any lower, then just walk back normally to your original spot, and then just repeat that. So we're just gonna do that for time. That's gonna be our first one. Okay, our next one is the Cossack squat. We're gonna have a dumbbell here. You're gonna be in this position, goblet style, and then we're just gonna lean right, then lean left. Okay, that's the Cossack squat. Almost like the lateral lunge. Okay, then we're gonna go with our dumbbell single arm push press. So that's gonna be, let me just confirm. Yep. So it's like a shoulder press. The only difference is you could use the assistance of your knees a little bit. I know for a shoulder press, we're usually here. For the upper shoulder arm press, what we're gonna do is just start here, and you could use your knees a little bit, okay? So you could do that. So you could get a little bit of force from your legs. That's number 3. And then the last one is a wall sit. So I'll need you to have an open wall, and we're doing a wall sit for 40 seconds on that one. Okay. And a wall sit, for anyone that hasn't done it, we're pretty much up against the wall, just leaning here, back against the wall. Your legs are gonna shake. Alrighty, let's go with the escalators. 30 to 40 seconds, in 3, 2, 1, go. So again, every step, ooh, I went down way too quick on that one. So, yeah. So you almost want to take about 4 to 5 steps before you're at your lowest point. And again, you're gonna feel this throughout your legs. 15 more seconds. We're at 30 seconds right now. Three, 2, 1. All right. Good work. All right, our dumbbell goblet Cossack squats. Similar to the skaters on this one with the movement, but instead of reaching down, you're just gonna keep your arms up here. And we're gonna go for 16, so a total of 8 on each side. If you feel good, give me 20 total, so 10 on each side. So again, we go here. You go ahead and begin. Reset, make sure you reset and come back. Yep. Yeah, if we don't reset, then we don't get that full range of motion. 5, 6, 7, and ideally we want to get the hips as low as the knee. So if we can't, then just go as low as you can with still having some room to bounce back up. Lost count, but I'm gonna call that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, there's the popcorn. 18 and 20. Whew. Shake that off. All right, we're gonna do that dumbbell single arm push press. All right, so we're going for 8 on each one. Remember this one, you could have your opposite arm out here or at your hip, your feet about shoulder width apart, and you can remember you could do this motion so you could push up. Just make sure there's no light fixtures right above you because you could break something. Ready? So 8 on each arm and begin. 2, 4, 7, 8. All right, once you've done that, I'm gonna switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. All right, and then our wall sit. Let's go ahead and find a wall in our area. So ideally something with no obstacles. Make sure if you're on a door, don't lay on a door that's gonna swing behind you. Make sure that you're on a door that swings towards you so you don't go through it. All right, so 40 seconds. Ready? And begin. See, like this garage door opens behind me, but I think it's safe right now. Okay, yeah, it's safe. 15 seconds. We're at 25 seconds, so I'll give you either 30 or 40 second options. We're at 30 seconds. 35 and 40. Oh. Ooh. Right above the knees. Awesome work. We're going into our last block. So 4 more exercises and we are good for today. Oh, this is a good one. We're gonna do an overhead dumbbell walking lunge. So just here and then keeping walking. So a total of 10 walking lunges. If your shoulders are really tender right now, just try to keep your hands up, okay? So no equipment necessary. Dumbbell standing calf raises. So dumbbells at your side and just 15 to 20 calf raises. It's probably one of the easiest movements we could do. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do donkey kicks on the floor. So again, on our force here, this time we're bringing our heels towards the ceiling. And the very last one we're doing is gonna be a plank jack. So for that one, you're gonna be in a plank position, either on your elbows or your hands. And you could do a plank, or you could do a side step plank jack, okay? Those are our 4 final movements of the day. All right, so grab that dumbbell if you're gonna use it for the walking lunges. Remember, for this one, we're doing 10. If you don't have equipment, that's fine. So go ahead and begin. So remember to reset, because we want that nice range of motion. I'm just gonna go for 12 just to finish my straightaway here. Whew. All right, good work. Got 3 more exercises. All right, one of the easier ones are dumbbell calf raises. We're here, and remember this one, if you watch my heels, I'm just gonna lift my heels off the floor and come back, okay? So 15 to 20 of these. Try to stay up top for about half a second before you come back down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 20. Awesome. Calf raises are great for your arches, your shins, your calves, of course. All right. Last.
I like this one, the calf raises.
The calf raises?
The best. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. That's
easy good.
Yeah, that's my go-to whenever my calves are tight from running or I want to warm them up. That's usually what I do. And usually when I don't do them is when my calves do get tight when running. So that's become like a daily exercise for me. All right, so our last 2, we are on the floor. So remember, just like the fire hydrants earlier, wrists right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips, eyes between your eyes between your hands, and then we're doing 8 on each leg. So your heel goes towards the ceiling, half a second hold, and then come back down. Go ahead and begin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very good. All right, and the last one is our plank jack, or I'm gonna do a side step jack, but pretty much you could be on your hands with a hand plank or elbows traditional plank, and you're gonna step. Like I said, we'll go out here and come back, or you could do a side step on each side. All right, we'll do a total of 30 to 40 seconds. All right, ready? Let's get in that position. 3, 2, 1, go. So with the plank position, you want to keep your shoulders to your heels, should be one long straight. If the side steps is too much, then just try to do the regular plank. So just hold it statically, and that should give you plenty of core work as well. We're at 30 seconds. And 40 seconds. Whew. All right. Since we are on the floor, we could spend a little bit of time here just stretching. So let's rest on our bellies. Just rest on your elbows. Place your hands where your elbows were and push up. If you're able to do this, then just hold it for a little bit longer. If this is painful, then just go back to your elbows. And then from here, one solid move our glutes to our heels, okay? So bring your glutes back. And reset. All right, folks. If you're in my 10 o'clock class and you're gonna come back, I'll see you in a few minutes. And then if you won't be coming back, then I'll see you on Monday if you're on my Monday class. And if you're just on this class, then just a reminder, we are not meeting next weekend. So I'll have videos for in lieu of this live session, okay? But any questions before we head out?
No, thank you,
All
and
right.
I'll look at the modules. It was really good.
All right, Tanya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
2 weeks. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye, folks. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye, Debbie. You coming? Okay. All right, Ramon. Bye.
Recording stopped.